Hi there, welcome to my views. Continuing our coverage of Ethiopia, Egypt tensions, two new stories, two new moves by Ethiopia to stop Egypt. Secondly, a new fund has been established by Ethiopian government to give loans to Ethiopian diaspora. Very interesting because generally diaspora invests in Ethiopia. Diaspora community sends money, remittances to Ethiopia. But this move indicates that the Ethiopian National Bank is ready to give loans to members of diaspora. Let's start, viewers, from Ethiopia, where Ethiopia Egypt tensions very visible. Egypt silently maneuvering, making inroads into Ethiopian neighborhood after failed Ethiopia Egypt several rounds of discussions over GERD. Egypt at last has managed to enter Ethiopian neighborhood. It has been Egyptian dream for years, by the way, to corner Ethiopia, to lay siege to Ethiopia, to force Ethiopia to make compromises on GERD. Egypt, Jula yesterday leveled three allegations against Egypt. He said that it was Egypt which blocked Ethiopian attempts to gain access to sea. It is Egypt which has been backing anti-Ethiopia armed groups in Ethiopia, and Egypt provided weapons to parties during Tigray war. This is what Jula said. So now, what is Ethiopian government doing to defend? Two new moves. Those several moves in the making, by the way. Jula visited African country a few days ago. Military cooperation agreement was signed there. Firstly, a rally is planned for Monday, reportedly. Preparations underway. Government departments have been told to mobilize people, to mobilize government workers to attend this rally. Nothing has been made public so far, but reportedly preparations are underway. The rally will be held with the slogan that people of Ethiopia will defend their country, their land, no matter what happens. Basically, if it happens, it would be an anti-Egypt rally. Ethiopian government wants to mobilize public support in uh, public support to back its policy, which is clearly rejecting the deployment of Egyptian troops in Somalia. By the way, when Ethiopia signed an MOU with Somaliland, which was the start of regional tensions in January, it was Somalia which organized patriotic rallies in Mogadishu. People were mobilized. Several rallies were held. Those were basically anti-Ethiopia rallies. Back then, Ethiopia remained cool and calm because it had made its move. Somalia was a aggrieved party. Then Somalia made counter moves, struck defense deals with Turkey, Egypt. Now, Ethiopia feeling under pressure. Ethiopian turned to go to people for a rally. Let's see. We'll update you in coming hours about the rally. Will it be held or not? If it is held, it would be basically held to condemn the deployment of Egyptian troops in Somalia. Another move by Ethiopia to stop Egypt from strengthening military presence in Somalia is that Ethiopia and UAE are holding discussions. Ethiopian and Emirati defense ministers met in Abu Dhabi yesterday. Main agenda point is the entry of Egypt in Somalia. Is it alarming for UAE as well that Egypt is now gaining military ground in Somalia? UAE owns Berbera port, Somaliland port. UAE wants Ethiopian cargo to be diverted from Djibouti to Berbera. Somalia has claims to Somaliland. If Somalia somehow gains control of Somaliland, UAE's ownership of Berbera could be in danger. Egypt will intervene to support Somalia. That is why Egyptian military entry in Somalia is not a positive development for UAE. Ethiopia already alarmed. So Ethiopia and UAE are holding discussions on defense cooperation, security cooperation. What will they decide? That remains to be seen. But both are alarmed. Both believe Ethiopia more alarmed because Ethiopia is neighbor to Somalia. Ethiopia, Egypt at loggerheads overgird as well. UAE alarmed because of its investment in Somalia. We'll see in coming days what the two countries decide to stop Egypt from gaining more ground in Somalia. Egypt is set to be a major player in Somalia now, keeping in view the start of peacekeeping, new peacekeeping mission in Somalia due to start in January next year. Egypt will be the key contributor, the most important contributor for troops to this mission reported. Let's see. We'll have to wait. But I think Ethiopia and UAE will make some joint decisions to stop Egypt. Secondly, the Ethiopian National Bank has announced a fund for diaspora. Diaspora community generally sends remittances to Ethiopia. This is the first time that I am hearing in the last 4 or 5 years that Ethiopian government has decided to give loans to diaspora community. 100 billion birr fund has been established, announced by Mamu Mereto, National Bank of Ethiopia chief. This fund has been established to give loans to diaspora community members. If anyone in Ethiopian diaspora wants to have loans from Ethiopian government, Ethiopian National Bank, or private banks too, they can file application, they can submit application. Why is that the government is ready to give loans to diaspora community? How will government ensure that loans are returned, the loans are paid back? I think firstly, government wants to win the hearts of diaspora community. Diaspora community is overwhelmed. Amhara diaspora community is overwhelmingly supporting Pano's movement. Oromo diaspora community supports Ola. Tigrayan diaspora community largely dormant. So Ethiopian federal government has lost its popularity, its acceptance in diaspora. So it wants to attract diaspora first. Secondly, through granting loans, maybe the government can earn more from diaspora. It could lead to confidence building between the government and diaspora community. Because generally, governments receive money from diaspora. They don't pay back to diaspora. In Eritrean economy relies heavily on diaspora sent remittances. What does Eritrean government give to diaspora? Nothing. Maybe Ethiopia wants to build confidence in the relation between diaspora and government. That's why this 100 billion fund has been formed, reported. Thank you.